OG Anunoby was drafted just 23rd overall in the 2017 NBA draft. Anunoby developed into one of the premier two-way players in the NBA during his time with the Toronto Raptors, becoming one of the NBA's top wing defenders while continuing to expand his offensive arsenal. Now with the Knicks, he has played a critical role into their rise as a perennial championship contender as their third or fourth option on any given night, as an efficient three-level scorer and shooter while being a lockdown defender. Anunoby is arguably one of the most, if not the most, underrated player in the game today. Now let's take a look at what happened to all 22 players drafted before OG Anunoby. At number 1, we have Markelle Fultz. After his stint in Philly kind of didn't work out the best, Fultz was able to garner a nice role with the Orlando Magic and developed into a pretty solid point guard. But at least over the past couple of seasons, hasn't really had that much of a role in the NBA. Played 21 games with Sacramento in the 2025 season, and then played 5 games with Toronto in the 2026 season. But I still think Markelle Fultz is a pretty valuable point guard in this league. His defense, his playmaking, his athleticism, and I think he can still provide a lot of value to a lot of different NBA teams. So I think he will be on a roster next season, so we'll see where he ends up, but hopefully he can get back on an NBA roster for the 2027 season. At number 2, we have Lonzo Ball. In the 2025 offseason, he was traded from the Chicago Bulls to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Isaac Okoro, but the Cavs did trade him mid-season. Though his playmaking was good, the shooting numbers just weren't as efficient for him as in past seasons. But kind of like with Markelle Fultz, I still feel like Lonzo Ball will be on an NBA roster next year. His defense, his size of the point guard position, and honestly, I think he'll get those shooting numbers back up. So he'll be back on an NBA roster next season. At number 3, we have Jayson Tatum. He returned from a torn Achilles injury and what I believe was only like a 10-month timeline, which is just absolutely unbelievable. And I think Tatum, though, being back healthy next season, I think the Celtics are probably going to be the favorites to win the East. I know the Knicks won this year. The Knicks obviously have a very good roster, but with a healthy Jayson Tatum, I don't think the Celtics are going to get beat next year in the Eastern Conference. I think Jayson Tatum will be back to his full form next season, so we'll see the 2027 season goes for him. At number 4, we have Josh Jackson. Started off his career with Phoenix, then also played with Memphis, and also had a stint with the Pistons, and then was also on the Kings as well. But really couldn't find any recent news on him within the last couple of years. I mean, I found some stuff from let's say 3 years ago, for example. But yeah, haven't really been able to find any current news if he's still playing pro basketball somewhere or what's going on at the moment. At number 5, we have De'Aaron Fox. He just made his first NBA Finals this year with the San Antonio Spurs. By the time you guys see this video, maybe the Spurs will have won the NBA Finals. I have no idea. But anywho, yeah, De'Aaron Fox got traded to San Antonio midway through the 2025 season, and he's basically the second option to Victor Wembanyama. And yeah, he's basically looking to win a championship with the Spurs, so we will see if that happens or not by the time this video comes out. At number 6, we have Jonathan Isaac. He's been with the Orlando Magic his whole career. Kind of had an up and down NBA career, at least from an injury standpoint. He's had certain stretches where he's been out a long time with very serious injuries. But when he is healthy, he is a very impactful defender for the Magic. Can basically play the 3, 4, or even a small ball 5, depending what lineups the Magic want to throw out there. But yeah, Isaac just been a pretty solid player throughout his career. Like I said, been with the Magic his whole career. And yeah, just hopefully he can continue to stay healthy. And because when he does, he's a very valuable player that impacts winning for the Magic. At number 7, we have Lauri Markkanen. After starting off his career with the Chicago Bulls, he was traded to the Cavs, and then was traded to the Utah Jazz, where he has basically become their franchise player. He's easily one of the best forwards in the game. I mean, he's 7 foot, he can shoot, he can handle the ball, he can go inside, he can rebound. I mean, he can basically do everything for you on the court. And like I said, basically the Jazz's franchise player right now. And the Jazz should be able to get back on a winning track here, now trading for Jaren Jackson Jr. with the emergence of Keontae George. At number 8, we have Frank Ntilikina. He spent his first 4 NBA seasons with the New York Knicks, then spent the next couple of years with Dallas, then moved on to Charlotte. At least for the past couple of years, he has been playing overseas. So for this past 2026 season, he played pro ball in Greece. He's always been a really solid defensive guard, so we'll see if he can get back in the NBA at some point. At number 9, we have Dennis Smith Jr. Start off his career with Dallas, and then was traded to the New York Knicks midway through the 2019 season. That was actually in the Kristaps Porzingis trade where Porzingis went to Dallas. He spent the next few seasons with the New York Knicks, but also played with the Pistons, the Blazers, kind of had a resurgent year with the Hornets, and also played with the Nets. And at least the last few years, he played with Real Madrid in 2025, and then 2026 season, he played with both the Wisconsin Herd and the Skyforce in the NBA G League. At number 10, we have Zach Collins. He's been a pretty solid stretch big throughout his career, and that's pretty much been his value as an NBA player. But even though he did kind of have a solid season with the Chicago Bulls last year, he did only play 10 games, and that kind of has been a struggle through him a little bit throughout his career as far as injuries go. So we'll see whether he's on the Bulls or another team next year. But yeah, I think the key thing for him is just going to be staying healthy, because when he does, he's a really impactful player. He can impact winning. Like I said, his big value is being able to stretch the floor at that 5 spot. At number 11, we have Malik Monk. He started off his career with the Charlotte Hornets and then went to the Sacramento Kings. But yeah, Malik Monk, he's been pretty excellent for the Kings. I mean, he's come off the bench, he's started, but for the most part, he's come off the bench and been a really solid 6-man, provides you a lot of energy and scoring, really gives your team a boost whenever you really just need a scoring punch. And we'll kind of see where Sacramento goes. I feel like they will keep him right now. They do have a lot of guards on their roster. Either way, though, I think he's a great fit in Sacramento, and yeah, we'll see whether he stays there long term or not beyond this upcoming season. At number 12, we have Luke Kennard. Simply put, he's just developed into one of the best three-point shooters the game has ever seen, period. I mean, his percentage is just absolutely ridiculous. He started off the 2026 season with the Atlanta Hawks, then was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, where he was a really valuable asset for them. So I have to believe the Lakers will keep him just because I feel like they really need his three-point shooting, just his efficiency. Like I said, he's basically one of the most efficient three-point shooters the game has ever seen. That's really where he's made his mark in the NBA, and I have to imagine, like I said, that he will be on the Lakers next season. At number 13, we have Donovan Mitchell. He's developed into one of the best players in this draft class. Recently made his first Eastern Conference Finals this year in 2026, but the Cavs did get swept by the Knicks. The Cavs do have a really, really solid roster, but yeah, who knows whether they can kind of take that leap next year and make the NBA Finals. It'll be their first NBA Finals in this kind of post-LeBron era. But yeah, Donovan Mitchell, he's essentially the Cavs franchise player at this point. I mean, obviously Evan Mobley, I guess you could say, is their franchise player, more of kind of their future franchise player to some degree. But yeah, Donovan Mitchell, he's the best player on this roster, and hopefully at some point he's able to make an NBA Finals and win an NBA championship. At number 14, we have Bam Adebayo. He's been with the Heat his whole career, going to be going into his 10th season with them next year. I would say essentially he is their franchise player. I mean, you have Tyler Hero, but Bam is the longest tenured player at this point. I mean, he's really your do-it-all center, and he's expanding his game beyond the three-point line now. He's definitely starting to shoot more threes. He's an all-world defender. He's an elite offensive player. Obviously, though, he hasn't really averaged much over 20 points per game throughout his career, but he did have the second highest scoring game in NBA history during the 2026 season. So I imagine Bam Adebayo, he's going to keep being on the Heat, and he might be a lifelong Heat player. We'll have to see. At number 15, we have Justin Jackson. Throughout his NBA career, he played with the Kings, the Mavericks, and also with the Oklahoma City Thunder. I couldn't really find much, though, on what he's doing now. It looks like he's been doing some things with podcasting and things like that. That's pretty much all I could find about what he's doing now. I'm not sure if he's playing pro ball currently. You guys will have to let me know in the comments, though, if you find anything else that he is doing currently, or maybe a specific podcast or things like that. At number 16, we have Justin Patton. He started off his NBA career with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and fun fact, he was actually involved in the Jimmy Butler trade from the Minnesota Timberwolves to the Philadelphia 76ers. After that, he also played with the Oklahoma City Thunder. He also had a little bit of NBA stint with the Houston Rockets as well. But as far as playing pro ball last, in the 2025 season, he played in Greece, China, and in Puerto Rico. At least that was the last I could find about his current pro basketball endeavors. At number 17, we have DJ Wilson. He started off his NBA career with the Milwaukee Bucks. Then from there, he went to the Houston Rockets. He was also with the Toronto Raptors as well, and the Philadelphia 76ers. But as far as his last pro ball whereabouts during the 2026 season, he played pro ball in China and in Puerto Rico. At number 18, we have TJ Leaf. He started off his NBA career with the Indiana Pacers and also had a stint with the Portland Trail Blazers. After that, he played pro ball in China for about 4 seasons, and during the 2026 season, he played pro basketball in Israel. At number 19, we have John Collins. He started off his career with the Atlanta Hawks, then was traded to the Utah Jazz, and this past 2026 season, he was with the LA Clippers, and he was a really good fit alongside Kawhi Leonard. I think he will be a really good fit and continue to be a good fit alongside Darius Garland, who is an excellent playmaker. But yeah, John Collins, a super athletic forward, can jump out of the gym, obviously, and has got a little bit of a three-point shot as well. So he's just a really solid forward in the NBA, and I think he's a really nice fit in the Clippers, so I hope they're able to keep him, that he's on their roster next season. At number 20, we have Harry Giles. He started off his career with the Sacramento Kings, also played for the Portland Trail Blazers, the Brooklyn Nets, and the Los Angeles Lakers. But over the past couple of seasons, he has been playing pro basketball in China. At number 21, we have Terrence Ferguson. He started off his career with the Oklahoma City Thunder and played about 3 seasons there. Also played with the Philadelphia 76ers as well. For the most part after that, he's been playing on some other pro basketball teams, and during the 2026 season, Terrence Ferguson played pro ball in Uruguay. And at number 22, we have Jarrett Allen. And like Donovan Mitchell, he made his first Eastern Conference final this year. He's Donovan Mitchell's teammate on the Cavs. But yeah, Jarrett Allen, he's just been a really solid center throughout his career. Can rebound, can block shots. Like I said, just a really solid center. Not much else I can say about him. But yeah, he's been a core part of the Cavs for a while, ever since the James Harden trade, when he was traded to the Cavs midseason during the 2021 season. So that is what happened to all 22 players drafted before OG Anunoby in the 2017 NBA draft. And you know what? We'll see if the Knicks win the championship by the time this video goes up, or at least by the time you guys see this video, whether or not I upload it before the NBA Finals end. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.